such an asshole.
Hello, children. That's more of the chef. Hello, children, not Three Dog from Fallout. Hello, children. Three Dog. Ow, ow, ow. And then I love how the inferior people who you're not part of my audience, please go away. I can't believe you're calling us children. Reminds me of a long time ago. Because I like Casablanca, which is a great movie, by the way. Let me get this more angled here. Let's get this. Let's do professional. I remember 3 women complaining back in the 90s. This is how long the feminist seed had gone. Complaining because I called them kid. Because I thought it was kind of charming how, not Cary Grant, who was it? Not Hugh Beaumont. Why can't I remember his name? Humphrey Bogart called Ingrid Bergman kid. Well, hey, kid, what's going on there, kid? That was degrading. That was insulting. They were very insulted by that. It's like, okay, never mind. Should have taken the hint. Should have figured it out. Those didn't go anywhere, if you were wondering, by the way. So we got to kind of clean up today. This is kind of a crap a-hole consulting day. Christian writes, I'd like to prepay for the next gotta get this shit off my chest rant in general. I'm showing my son the stuff that's how to fuck up your life less. But whatever the burning desire is probably more relevant than my preference. I don't care about anonymity. I'm doing this for my son. Yes, we've read 2 of your books so far. Thank you in advance, Christian. And you curse, so I guess I can curse too. Although I'll try and keep it somewhat clean for your son. And I said, well, what's your PSA? You just want me to rant. And here's the problem. I don't have the energy to rant today. I don't. Your request has been sitting here for a while, so I'm just going to read this article that I think will be of benefit for your son and any young people out there, male, female, doesn't matter, daughters. To like, I don't know, make like to say, hey, you see the idiots that came before you? Did you see the millennials? Hang on. Was there a book written on how not to become one? Kid, you want to be miserable and pissed off? Well, then don't become a millennial. Here we could go. This is of economic interest. Divorced student debtors detail anguish over 1990s law that's turned into a nightmare. See, so number 1, don't get married. Number 2, don't go to college for something stupid. I think it was, what was it, 60% of 40-year-olds, like the millennials, because they're finally approaching 40, maybe it was 38, but like the majority of them still have student loan debt. It's like, wow, you guys suck. You just suck. We were misled by the boomers. Yes, in this book, 7 chapters destroying the boomers, but you were also intelligent and all said you knew better. So I'm trying to square that. You said you were so intelligent, but most educated. How are you wrong now? And you need a bailout like the banksters that you hate so much. Do you have the intelligence to recognize the hypocrisy? All right. This goes back to the 90s. This is probably more germane to my generation. Problems with student loan debt pushed Congress to create a seemingly straightforward law in the 1990s to help borrowers lower default rates by consolidating debt with their spouses. That does not seem simple. That's the opposite of simple. This just made it more complicated. You have now commingled funds. And if you young boys out there are wondering, Aaron, should I commingle funds with anyone? No. That's your money. This is my money. That's mine. That's yours. You have the right to do whatever you want with yours. I have the right to do whatever I want with mine. And the two shall never twain. But they thought this would be a great idea because American marriage is so stable, right? Because you baby boomers and Gen Xers and now you millennials, y'all don't have a 50% divorce rate, right? Because marriage is really the bedrock foundation, blah, 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 right? There's 1 in 2 chance that ship's going to sink. Should we board it? Yeah. And hey, you know what? Let's commingle our funds on this USS Titanic. 2 decades later, divorce borrowers are struggling with the unforeseen consequences. I have no sympathy for divorced people, none whatsoever. I do understand that sometimes there's genuine actual abuse, male or female. I do understand that a lot of you guys you know, you were side swipe by it. You didn't realize it was coming or happening. We cannot be this stupid going forward. I know the rest of the normies, conformies, and inferiors are all going to get married, and then they're going to get divorced. Like, oh, hap, I didn't know. Turkey, turkey, dirt. But for my audience, guys, you just don't get married. It's not shtick. I'm not being funny. I'm not making a saucy accusation. There is no reason for any of you to get married. Cohabitate if you want, okay, in a non-common law state. She asks her your place. You could be in a committed relationship. You do not get married. It just makes things more difficult. And if you look at the batting average of the past 3 generations of Americans, we suck at it. So just knock it off. Don't do it. Don't do it. Get married? What, are you crazy? No. The problem in particular is a great metaphor for how broken the student loan system is. Bonnie Luttrell, here's a worthless person, director of research and advocacy at the Student Borrower Protection Center. What communist organization gave you the money, huh? Told Yahoo Finance, which, by the way, this is from Yahoo Finance, and Yahoo is not real news. It is a tabloid. This product was so dangerous that they just stopped making it. It's been 15 years. They haven't found a way to unwind it. The issue stems from 1992, probably Bill Clinton or maybe George Bush Sr. Legislation aimed at fixing student loan default rates that did not account for the possibility of divorce or capability to separate student debt liabilities between married couples. It's a nightmare. No, it's not. Just don't get married. Huh? Montana resident Honor Man, who has seen her tax refund seized and wages garnished while struggling with her and her ex-husband's student debt for more than a decade, told Yahoo Finance, nobody will help us. Lady, how old are you? Like, I don't care whether you commingled or you co-signed, you signed on the dotted line, you took other people's money that wasn't yours, and now you're, 1992? What is that, almost 40 years ago? No, that's 30 years ago. It's almost 30 years ago. You're still hemming and hawing over what could have been no more than 25 grand in student loan debt? Nobody will help us. Yeah, you worthless quanta, haha. Get off your ass and help yourself and pay back the money. Nobody will separate it so we don't have to deal with each other ever again. Well, you said yes, huh? Was he hot? Was he a good-looking guy? Oh, yeah, here's Bill Clinton. Yeah. ED did not respond to requests for comments by the time of the publication. In Florida, Dennis Ballard has been grappling with $250,000 in combined $250,000 loans with his ex-spouse. A process. Did you get married, Dennis? Did you get married? Oh, bad move, Jeans. Process which has been stressful, not just because of the high monthly payments and the unnecessary frequent interactions with his ex, but also because the loans didn't qualify for the pandemic payment pause. There's I on the line. Just on a personal level, having to constantly deal with your ex-wife, that can be kind of frustrating, Ballard told Finance. Hey, no idea. There's no more ex-wives because he ain't getting married. Just an idea. And I'm sure you ladies be okay with not having any exes, or as you like to call them, sperm donors. Because he was so hot that you wanted to get impregnated by him. But then I just had to leave him. In Arkansas, or as I used to believe, there was a 51st state called Arkansas, and many of you did too. Paul is 61. This woman has gray pubes. And I don't have to read further. I just know she's going to complain like, oh, what should I do? Let me guess. It's going to be requiring other people to bail you out of your mistakes, like a bankster. Said she had been dutifully paying on over $100,000 of federal loans, but her hours had been cut and income reduced, so she was worried about making $1,200 in monthly payments. What are you doing going to school in your 50s? And what stupid crap, by the way, can't put a price on education? Now you certainly can, huh, lady? Threatening, oh, look at this boomer. To imagine, I know you guys all hate this woman, But imagine being 61 and you have $1,200. That's a rent payment. That's a mortgage payment. Imagine having student loans at 61 because you so mismanaged your life that like when you're like 75% dead, I'm going to go to college and sign up for a worthless freaking degree because otherwise she would have made the money to pay it off, right? Let me guess, Paula, you didn't major in engineering. Because the maths are hard. Did you want to change lives and help the people and save the world? You all fucking need pacifiers, assholes. I'm just waiting for garnishments, Paula told Yahoo Finance. No remedies to the law. The student loan crisis was already a big part of education conversation in the 1990s. Experts warned about college tuition rising faster than inflation. Stop lending money to college students. Stop giving them scholarships. Parents, stop giving them money and have them pay cash. And you will see tuition rates drop to where it was back in the 1960s. Happiest days of your life. Alarming default rates across the country. In 1992, Congress also introduced a suite of consolidation programs to help borrowers with repayment. In the Higher Education Act of 1992, lawmakers created the Spousal Consolidation Loan. A married couple, each of whom as eligible students, the text states, may be treated as if such couple were individual borrowing, and if such couple agrees to be held jointly and severally liable, both liable, for the repayment of a consolidation loan and without regard to any subsequent change that may occur in the couple's marital status. The text stated, they have a picture of it right there. And so from January 1st, 1993 to June 30th, 2006, married borrowers could be jointly liable for a loan payment. I wonder who got the short end of the stick on that one there. Gentlemen majoring in real things and women majoring in puffy, fluffy bunny studies. And even after the program ended, Representative David Price, Democrat, North Carolina, told Yahoo Finance Congress didn't fix the problem for everybody who was already stuck with it. I got an idea. They pay the money back. And I don't care because it's not the taxpayers' problem if they stayed married or not. There's an idea. Responsibility. Price, who heard stories like these from his constituents, introduced a bill in 2019 to fix the issue. Being British now, the bipartisan bill, the Joint Consolidation Loan Separation Act, was aimed to provide divorced spouses to separate their loans split proportionately so that they'll be able to pursue repayment on their own. His team is now planning to reintroduce the bill, and based on their conversations with ED, look how much Price. Do you realize how sad and pathetic your constituents who vote for you are? That you got to like pamper and nanny these little adult children. It's all the Democrats are. Your constituents are just lazy adult children who want no consequences and no responsibility. You just want free shit. And then when you make stupid decisions like having kids you can't afford or going into debt, you go, the government could bail it out. It's just... a serious question to Price at any, I mean, I know Ocasio-Cortez is too stupid to get this, and Nancy Pelosi, but like, doesn't it disgust you that your constituents shit on the streets? Like in Seattle and Portland, doesn't it disgust you that like, these are not adults? Or are you beyond that because you just want the free money and because it's a politician's career and it's easy? And that's like most important to you. Forget the country. Forget whether you're actually helping people out. Forget that you have homeless people living in tents. Forget that Detroit is a shit show. Does it make you feel good that you're going to like further nanny? Pacifiers for all Democrat voters because you're little children. His team estimates possibly up to 120,000 couples or ex-couples are holding their spousal loans. Price noted that for people who are in these situations where one partner is uncooperative, we have a set of circumstances in the bill where the paying partner, so to speak, could renegotiate the situation unilaterally. I'm not against it, but why? Crazy idea. Why don't you just not lend students money? Because 80% of the time they're majoring in worthless crap. Why don't you just leave this alone? Reminds me of Minnesota. They, I don't know if they even passed the law, but they were like hemming and hawing. Should we allow car dealers to sell cars on Sunday? This is a thing. They were actually arguing about it. And it took some 26-year-old kid who was a libertarian to write to his Republican congressman. Yeah, congressman. At the state legislature, like, what is it? You're a business. And then here's this old boomer, like, I didn't think about that. You're right. What right do we have? I didn't. I'm like, you got elected? Something as simple as leave people be? Like, it's not the government's business. Go the F away. Roads, highway, military, some regulations and a judicial system. Otherwise, get the F out of our way. You're right. What right do I have to say? And I thought about he was going to vote against it. Here, Republican, conservative, free, libertarian, capitalist. He was going to vote that like car dealerships couldn't sell cars on site. Maybe it was the liquor law. Maybe like liquor stores weren't open on Sundays. In any case, he was just like, well, I the young man told you know what, he's right. He's right. I'm like, really? Man, glad we got Socrates over here. This made the news, by the way. Yeah, Chairman David Price, Democrat, North Carolina. He's just an old fart who probably has been there forever and he needs to go away. Without any provisions that allow couples to separate student debt despite being divorced, the situation has been a financially painful hindrance for tens of thousands of divorced student debtors ever since. You took on more debts than you could afford going back to the 90s and you screwed up getting divorced. Were there any children that were innocent bystanders in this freaking path of destruction that you guys did? Oh, you're the victims. Oh, I see. Because you majored in sociology and you can't pay back your $40,000 because you're too lazy to get a second job because you're a piece of shit. If a borrower has a problem with their student loans, there's almost always a fix or remedy, Luttrell said, but spousal consolidation are really the only thing where there's nothing available. There are no remedies in the laws. Borrowers like Mann, Paul, and Ballard were all encouraged to consolidate the loans with their spouse to seemingly make their debt more manageable. Mann, 41, who got married at the age of 17. Now, do you think he's smart? Took out loans to attend a Bible college. Your parents were really, man, did your parents boomer? Holy cow. Like, did they just let you grow up in a ditch? Like, there's no guidance there. Indiana for a degree in graphic design. It's a girl. All right. She said she graduated in 2001 with $25,000 in debt. So that's 20 odd years ago, and you couldn't make $1,000 a year payment. You guys understand? These are the stupid people. These are the lazy. These are the worthless. These are the parasitic. Her then spouse attended the now defunct ITT Technical Institute in Michigan, graduating with $5,500 in student loan debt after being laid off their first design job in late 2001. So 20 years ago. Ex-spouse finding entry-level jobs outside his field. They consolidated the loans, but they divorced in 2008. She said her ex-spouse stopped paying his portion in 2011. When she called ED directly, Mann recalled being told that there's nothing they could do. It's all federal regulations. Mann defaulted on her federal family education loan program. How do you default on 25 grand of loans from 20 years ago? Like, how much do you suck? Dude, people got cell phone plans that are more expensive than that. $100 a month. You couldn't afford that? You're a lazy fuck. Fuck off. Through the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assisted Agency years ago, and our outstanding balance currently stands at $42,000. So you didn't understand how exponential math works. They've done treasury offsets for me since the beginning, man. Said, I mean, how much labor are you spending on? Could you have just paid off your loans? How about that? Would that have been easy? Man said, referring to how the federal government seizes tax refunds from debtors or delinquent debts owed to federal agencies. Yes. But you vote for them, right? Because parasite. And once I was able to find a full-time job, 20 years later, They've been garnishing wages ever since. She noted that roughly 50% of her paycheck, around $325, has been deducted every month until March of last year. So hang on, let's do 325 divided by 15%. So you make, so that degree is earning you $25,000 a year. They all suffer, man. They all suffer. In Florida, Ballard, an attorney, is also grappling with his consolidated spousal loans after both he and his then spouse graduated from law school in 2005. So this is 16 years ago. They both owed $250,000 in private and federal loans. In 2008, he got a call offering to consolidate his loans with spousal. Couple divorced in 2015, but they still owed more than $244,000. Split 60-40 between them. They had to keep in touch regarding payments. If one decides not to contribute, collectors go after one another deeper pockets. Promissory note for Paula in Arkansas. Took out loans to attend university and had consolidated about $25,000 in loans with her ex-husband in 2005. Okay, 16 years ago, you got $25,000. It was really a bad idea in hindsight. The debt has almost quadrupled. Do you not understand how exponential math works? You're a college effing graduate. How do you not know how compound interest works? It's 4th or 5th grade math. Teachers, education, sociology, liberal arts, social sciences, feelings. I've called them about doing anything, reducing the interest rate. It's 8% or dissolving the consolidation, and they won't do anything at all. Yes, because you took their money and signed on the dotted line. Paul said, knowing that her ex has refused to pay anything at all, he does not want to pay bills. He feels entitled. Oh, like you getting bailed out? She resigned to what happens when the debt goes into collections, adding, I don't know when it goes to garnishment or if I'll be the only one garnished. Could you have just been? Never mind. For a man who's trying to buy a home, she also isn't able to get any access to loans since she has defaulted on her student loan debt. So the people who steal money should not be lent any more of other people's money. Is that what you're bitching about? Yahoo Finance people. Since she has defaulted on loans years ago, has fallen off her credit reports, rehabilitating the loan could depress her credit score. I figured I was just screwed with this for the rest of my life. Guys, could you imagine what it's like to have a relatively small amount of $25,000 and that just ruins your life? This woman's in her 40s. You think she couldn't pay $100 a month to pay down the student loan? Maybe it's a little bit more at 8%. Let's say 120. All right. Oh, she went out and partied. Guarantee you she did. I bet you she's been to Mexico. But she party. Oh my goodness. I'm going to Paris. I'm going to Paris. You guys have French club when you were in high school where all the snooty girls joined that club? Maybe it was just an 80s thing. I figure I was just screwed with it. Rehabilitation does carry some credit risk for borrowers in the near term. Bradley Custer at the Center for American Progress found that when he consolidated his own commercially small drop his credit score of 8 points. Oh, no, not 8 points because your credit score goes up to like 850. I wonder about what people who started out as much lower, perhaps credit scores, or have a variation in their credit history or their financial activity that a drop like this for something should be good could be quite damaging to their credit. Oh, no. You mean deadbeats who steal people's money shouldn't be lent money, Custer? Again, what's it like being a Democrat? Like you just don't owe up to any of your mistakes. Unless prices bills pass, these borrowers don't feel very optimistic about their financial future. But think about this for a long time. It's bothered me, Paula said. I've just had depression. I've had problems just because I have no control over it. It's just, you could get another job and pay it off. But that's hard. Perfect example of lazy people working twice as hard. All right. Any super chats today? I've got a couple here. All right, that's nice. Swallow Blue for $5. Why didn't they just cap how much public taxpayer funded colleges? Because, okay, Swallow, we're going to explain to you. You're a young gentleman, college student. Politicians cannot not do anything. They have to look like they're doing something all the time. Otherwise, they don't get elected by dumb Democrat people. All right. So it's always better to have more money, print off money, money printer go burr. But going back, like tuition was going up faster than the rate of inflation. And they didn't realize that printing off government money or lending more, multiple hundreds of billions of dollars a year to the student loan market was driving up tuition. They didn't get it. These boomer and some older Gen X Fs did not understand how flooding $500 billion into the student loan market caused tuition to go up. And you could not say, well, don't lend the money, tuition's going to go up. Is it? But we have to help the Womans and the childrens and the minorities. We can't just not do anything. It's like, if you do something, it's going to make everything a lot more expensive. People are going to have to borrow money. And they're going to be ruined for the rest of their financial lives. And so it's more important to do something than to do what's right. And I really, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but this just shows how good of an economist I am. You want lower tuition? End scholarships. Stop flooding the market with scholarships. Parents, stop co-signing loans. Say, nope, you got to pay cash. And all of a sudden, all these fancy buildings and your assistant reserve, vice, break glass in case of emergency, diversity, inclusion professors and assistant reserve counselors, they all go away without their $100,000 salaries. And oh my gosh, look at that, professors in some classrooms. And now we're charging $50 a credit. And then we all made the younger people richer because they didn't have to spend $100,000 on paying bloated salaries of all these assistant reserve, vice deputy assistant, director, secretary, assistant, diversity director of council of inclusion. Taekwondo for €2, but Cappy, it's so much harder for women. Everything's harder for women. It's just it's just so bad. It's just so bad. Josh Hilton, $5 shout out from Detroit. Thanks, Josh. I have not been to Detroit in 3 decades. Went there in the 80s one time. Fred Freeman Sowell, our residential agent in the field for $5. Asian gal who likes Cap sent me an article about 51-year-old guy about to marry a woman with kids and debt. He has $2 million IRA, afraid she'll blow it so won't inherit. Afraid she'll blow it so he won't inherit. I don't know how you blow money on an IRA. He can't withdraw it until he's 62, I believe, at the earliest. Scott Ludke for $2. Thank you. The Whiskey Librarian for $2. Thank you again. All right, that's it. Questions, answers. AssholeConsulting.com. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.